Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone, for joining. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Here.
Councilman Dooley?
Here.
Councilwoman Nicholson? Here. Councilwoman Marcotte? Here. Supervisor Colavita?
Here. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The first matter on our agenda is the public hearing to consider the adoption of a local law amending local law number 2 of 2018, known as the Telecommunications Franchising and Licensing Law within the town of Eastchester. And we noticed this at our last meeting. And by way of background, what we are simply seeking to do is to extend the time that we can agree to a franchise agreement with a Cablevision provider. Presently, Cablevision and Fios, or Verizon, I should say, their agreements are coming up, and we're going to start the negotiation process. And our old agreement was for a shorter term, and so lately there have been longer terms being, examined and approved by other municipalities. So we're going to leave ourselves the option of going to a 15-year term. Anyway, so with that being said, we need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll and open the public hearing.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is open. Anyone care to comment? Yes, sir. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to address the board. I was here last month with some specifics as it related to cable issues, and I'm trying to determine who within the town has responsibility for notification of cables that are laying in the gutter, wrapped around poles, and just left hanging freely. So I'm really trying to determine the process in which neighbors can possibly identify who within the town has responsibility. And I'm sure, by the way, Cablevision and Fios clearly have a CAD application that probably can tell you where the cables are. I'm pretty confident that they have that done. But the idea is that we need to understand why the inventorying of cable on all the telephone poles, specifically in the north end, seem to have 30, 40, 50 feet rolls of cable hanging from the telephone. So I'm really trying to determine what your process is going forward and who would be responsible for the alerting of whoever it may be within the town that we need to get this addressed.
Well, there are two people that come to mind. The first is the superintendent of highways, because these things pertain to highway.
Okay.
And I think the second person would be the chief of police or the police department, but probably the former rather than the latter. And of course, you can always, as you know, Lisa has mentioned to me, she spoke with you many times, and we reach out to Mr. Latella. Mr. Latella reaches out to the utility companies and asks them to remove their stuff. We're not allowed to do that. We're not supposed to do that. But what we just cry and become the squeaky wheel. So hopefully get oil first.
I have no problem in contacting either the highway or the police. The only thing is that it seems like it's rampant in terms of every pole you're looking at. What happens is when people change vendors, the new vendor comes in and cuts the cable anywhere they want. In many, many cases, they're left hanging 6 feet down from the cable connector. And that's not acceptable from any CWA person that I'm aware of to how to install cable.
Sure, of course.
So somewhere along the line, the people who are doing this, cabling, I don't know whether they're certified or they're third party or just throwing this together. because now it becomes an eyesore and becomes a issue that a number of people, particularly who have the wire wrapped around a pole in front of their house, and specifically in the case of we have a nursery school, there's 100 foot of cable laying at the curb.
So, you know, there's a kind of a problem in that with Con Ed or Suez, they're constantly asking the town for permits, for access, for street openings and the like. So we have a little bit of control there, but the cable companies generally don't do that. And, you know, I can say from personal experience, being an Optimum Cablevision customer, when I had a problem in my home, they sent some guy over in with some little Ford Escort with a ladder taped to his roof that was clearly not an employee of Cablevision, and he actually, I guess by error, cut the cable that was a service to the house. And so we had to have a third and a fourth and a fifth guy come to the house. And honestly, the first four had no idea what they were doing, because I think they're jobbing out this repair work or installation work or corrective work, and you're going to have a mess exactly like you're describing. So, you know, what I'm just saying is that if you have a problem, you should communicate that to Mr. Latella, to my office, and then we'll do the best we can to get them moving. Generally speaking, this problem is not generally an issue for the cable franchise agreement. It's more about channels and, you know, the like. But I can assure you that we will attempt to initiate provisions in this agreement to tackle that problem. Like, there's another problem we have to, not to get on a soapbox here, but like, even with Con Ed and United Water and some of the other utility companies, we'll come in, we'll put a brand new sidewalk in, we'll spray the street, and then they come in and they're spraying their marks all over the place, right? And they say that, well, you know, it comes off after time. I don't think that's a good idea. And I think what we should do is pass a local law that says that once you commence your job, you have a certain number of, you know, days to complete the job. After completion of the job, within a certain period of time, whether it be 10 days or 5 days or whatever, you've got to come in and remove the markings on the street. Because, you know, it's a similar degradation of the appearance of the town. And I really think we need to do the same thing. And I think we could probably maybe work both in here.
The only thing that I have a concern about it, are you relying on the people who are the residents to call the highway department, or is there someone in the highway department that has the responsibility? I mean, Lakeview Avenue, you don't have to be looking for it. Believe me.
Well,
Yes?
what I would do, Frank, is this. I mean, we are very dependent. We don't have large staff.
I
We're
realize.
dependent on people saying, hey, there's a double pole over here, or there's a giant spool. The more that gets farmed to us, the easier it is for us to do. Naturally, as the highway superintendent and the deputies are out and they see stuff going on, you know, they're constantly taking action on a lot of different things, not just hanging wires. But it always is a help to the town to have someone call in and just say, hey, by the way, in front of my home on Lakeview Ave, there's about 100 foot, you know, laying down, the kids are tripping on it, or whatever, you know, whatever the case might be. And can we make the call to Cablevision or United or Verizon or, you know, whatever the entity would be?
Okay, all we're doing is looking for help.
Right.
That's all. Looking for
Absolutely.
help. But the idea is that it's gone beyond a little bit of help. Now it's a catastrophe on every pole in the north end. I'll give you a typical example. At 700 Scarsdale Avenue, riding down Brook Street, you don't have to get out of your car. The difference between two poles, maybe 30, 40 feet. The diameter of the spread in the wire is almost 10 feet, which you can touch from the sidewalk. That's clearly not acceptable. So somewhere along the line, maybe the cable company's not watching it, maybe we're not watching it close enough, but clearly we need to step up. COVID is over, let's get on it, and let's do what we got to do. If you want
Sure,
me
Mr.
to...
Latella's here, he's making notes, so.
I'm sure, I know him well. All we're doing is looking for a little help from town, that's all. And
course.
if you need people to call, I'll be more than happy, because I get the calls right now, and I'm only surfacing what their belief is to be. So I appreciate your help.
No problem.
Okay.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay.
Is there anyone else that wishes to speak? Yes. This is on the public hearing. Hi.
Good evening, Mr. Supervisor and council members and administration staff. With the cable, this has been going on for a while, and you get citizens like Frank Sweeney and others to bring it to the attention of the town, saying that we have hanging cable. You call a cable company, they don't want to do anything. I mean, we the people should have the right to tell them, this is your property, this is your stuff, this is our town. We don't want your cables, after you get done disconnecting them, just leaving them any way you want to. And I'll share my personal story. I had Optimum, and I love that company so much, and paying cha-ching, 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 and not using all the services that you even get with the basic service. Just didn't use them. So I said, I'm going to try out this Mahu little wing ding. And it works. And it's saving me $44 a month. And I don't have this problems with anything to do with the cable company. However, when the cable company came to shut off my cable, when they disconnected it, or however they stopped it, I asked them about the wire, because I didn't want the wire rolled up and put on the telephone pole outside the house. And my neighbor, well, it's really on my neighbor's property. They said, don't worry about it. We're going to leave it in place. I said, leave it in place. They said, well, the next company that comes by, they're going to use it. I said, I guarantee you, there ain't going to be another company, not in my lifetime, because I had it with cable companies and their lack of responsibility for their service or lack of service. He still refuses to do it. Now, two things. This could be what his boss is telling him, or maybe this is a subcontractor. And a subcontractor, the faster he gets out of Dodge, the more time he's got on his own. I don't know. But all I know is that cable's still in the house, not connected, but it's still there. Probably a lot better to have it that way than hanging from telephone poles. I mean, it's fun for the squirrels to run back and forth on them, so keep them happy. So that's one of the problems that I see. Frank has been on this thing forever and ever and ever, and he's brought it to the attention of the front office and to the town. And I would say it's time that the town says to the cable companies, you know, this is your property, this is your stuff, this is our town, we don't want it to look like this. You put it in, you take it out completely. And that's my thoughts on it. And also, with this free air TV on Mahu, I'm pulling in New York City's lines of their town stuff. I wonder if cable TV could do the same for us that don't subscribe to cable. Wouldn't that be nice? So, anyway, I thank you for listening. I guess you just heard the same thing from Frank, but I don't know, I was out there, so I'm sorry if I was a little repetitive. But I really do hope that we can get some effort forward and get rid of these cables hanging around and put our town back the way it should be, that when we say and ask and request, that they respond. It's not that they do what they want to do. Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else? No? All right, there being no one else, someone care to make a motion to close the public hearing? So moved.
Second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Okay, that brings us to the action itself on the adoption of the amendment. I'll make the motion. Ask for a second, please.
Second?
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte? Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Okay, there being no one here for the opportunity to address the board, we'll move on to appointments. We have Senior Office Assistant, Automated Systems. This is the probationary appointment of Patricia George to the position of Senior Office Assistant, Automated Services. The applicant or present employee has successfully passed the civil service exam, and her name appears on the Westchester County Civil Service List 02416. If approved, her starting date will be August 20th, 2021, at the annual salary of $61,252, CSCA Grade 5, Step 5. She will be required to serve a probationary period, which will be not less than 12 weeks and not more than 52 weeks, and funds have been provided for in the 2021 budget, as she is already an employee, and she's just taking additional tests to better herself and to become a civil servant. So I'll make the motion for her as aforesaid and ask for a second, please.
Second?
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte? Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, an appointment also for Senior Office Assistants, Automated Services, and we're requesting the appointment of Antoinette Barasano of Eastchester, of course, to the position of Senior Office Assistant, Automated Systems, and she successfully completed the civil service exam from list 02416. If approved, her starting date will be August 20th, 2021, at the annual salary of $51,409, which is CSCA Grade 5, Step 3B. She'll be required to serve a probationary period, which will be not less than 12 weeks and not more than 52 weeks, and funds have been provided for in the 2021 budget. And Antoinette was a part-time employee for a while in the town government, and then we had a retirement, so a person moved out of one spot to another spot to fill the vacancy, and she will be assuming that position. She's done an excellent job so far. So I'll be happy to make the motion for her approval as aforesaid and ask for a second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have an approval of the minutes of the June 15th, 2021 Town Board meeting and the July 13th Town Board meeting. Any modifications or amendments? No, there being none, I'll move to approve same as submitted. Ask for a second.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have reports of departments, boards, and commissions. We have a police department report, and we can receive and file the July 2021 parking summonses, V&T, and town ordinance report, together with the detective's report and statement of accounts for the same period. Anything further to add, Lieutenant? Okay. Call upon XO Joe Rodriguez.
Good evening, Mr.
evening.
Supervisor and the Town Board. Just a couple things to add. In the last month, about a third of our department has taken part in a tactical combat casualty care course, which members go to, and it helps them further treat first aid for injuries they may sustain or their partner may sustain. But it's also great because it can help them treat injuries that the public may sustain. The department is also taking part in the Knox Alone Leave Behind program, which is sponsored by St. Vincent's. Bronxville and Tuckahoe Police also take part in that. And the purpose is if we go to an overdose call to assist the family or friends of somebody who may have overdosed, we can now provide them with Knox Alone that they can provide to the patient in the future. All officers are also being trained as trainers to provide the training to the family for the Knox Alone program. Last month, we lost police aide and parking enforcement officer Elizabeth Vuxenai. She went to the White Plains Police Department. Congratulations to her. She did an excellent job when she was here. She's currently in the academy. I'm sure she's going to do an excellent job up there. But unfortunately, that does leave us down one PEO, so we're working on filling that position. We're also looking to fill one or two crossing guard positions coming up. We had somebody who was doing it. He got hired by the NYPD. And we had somebody else resign. So we're looking to fill the two elementary school crossing guard positions. And lastly, the Joseph DePippo Memorial Golf Outing is September 28th at the Leawood Country Club. It's sponsored by the Eastchester PBA, and that is, again, it's for Joe DePippo, who worked here and tragically passed away in 2006 while on duty.
Anything further for Lieutenant? No. Thank you very much, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Okay, that moves us over to the Law Department report. Mr. Rader?
Yes, good evening. First, I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of a claim by Barbara Sesti against the town of Eastchester in the amount of $7,200 for damage sustained to Ms. Sesti's property on September 30th of 2020.
All right, so moved.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye.
Okay, next I have a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute and deliver a license agreement made between the town of Eastchester and New York SMSA Limited Partnership doing business as Verizon Wireless, which will enable Verizon the right to install and operate small wireless facility on telephone poles within the town of Eastchester's town right-of-way. And further, we need to set a date for a public hearing, which will be, I guess, September 21st.
That's correct. Yeah, September 21st here at 8 o'clock. And in essence, 5G is catching up with Eastchester. We're actually one of the first municipalities in the county to have these small, cells put up. There are approximately 15 locations in the town that they're anticipating these little 5G units will be erected on telephone poles. They're about the size of a 5-gallon pail. Then there's a wire that goes down the pole to a small box or two. It's not those gigantic, refrigerators that are attached to poles elsewhere. It's a very compact unit. There is also an agreement that we have to execute with Verizon, as the town attorney had mentioned. There's not a lot of negotiation room here because a lot of this is all controlled by the FCC, but we are getting paid per unit, per pole, and the town attorney was wise enough to include a provision which they've agreed to that in the event the FCC increases the amount of payment per unit per pole, then we will be able to increase our fees as well, which I think was a great idea. Anyway, we can talk more about it at the public hearing. That's generally what it is. A lot of people, by the way, as an aside, they look at their 5G phones and a little twisted because they're not working as well as advertised, but that's because there's not a lot of 5G service here. With the installation of these units, there'll be a much, much better grade of 5G service, which I think is with the future of cell phones. And everybody has a cell phone, so and everybody's dependent on their cell phone, I might add. Anyway, so with that being said, someone care to make a motion, set a public hearing for 9/21/21 in this room at 8 o'clock for this particular resolution?
So moved.
I'll second same. Please call the roll on setting a public hearing.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye.
Okay, next I have a resolution authorizing the supervisor to execute and deliver a permit agreement between the town of Eastchester and the county of Westchester for the town to operate and maintain Scout Field as a municipal recreation facility for the term being August 15th, 2021 through the end of the year, December 31st, 2021.
Sure. On this particular matter, as people are probably aware, we have had the IMA for management of both Upper and Lower Scout Field. That's been in effect for the last 5 years. During the course of our negotiation, 1,000 years ago, prior to the term of this particular IMA, the county was to improve Upper Scout Field. The town improved Lower Scout Field along with, the Bronxville School District and members of the community there. So, they did not complete their improvement of Upper Scout Field, which is supposed to have a field for play, fenced-in field, and then a dog run, and of course parking and the like. So they were not prepared to extend the term for 5 years. They've asked us, could we just continue to manage it till the end of the year, and then we'll sort out, between now and then, what we're going to do going forward. But it's a great asset. We want to make sure that we have control over the field so that we can parse it out to everybody that wants to use it, but as well make sure the Bronxville School District and the Scouts and the camps all have an opportunity to use the field as well. So anyway, with that being said, I would be delighted to move for this extension of the agreement on the same terms that have been set forth in our agreement here, and ask for a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte. Aye. Supervisor Colavita.
Aye.
Okay, next I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of a certiorari proceeding instituted by Midland Garden Owners, Inc., affecting the premises known as Section 3, Block 3, Lots 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 14A, 25, 29, and 31, and the assessment years on this property are from 2015 through 2020, and the tax years from 2016 through 2021, and the total town tax refund on this property is $6,821.62.
So moved. Second. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte. Aye. Supervisor Colavita.
Aye.
Okay, next I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of a certiorari proceeding instituted by Tavalillo Realty Corp., affecting the premises known as Section 34, Block 1, Lot 1, 125 Columbus Avenue, and the assessment years on this property are 2015 through 2020, tax years 2016 through 2021, and the total town tax refund on this property is $391.13.
So moved. Second. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte. Aye. Supervisor Colavita.
Aye.
Okay, and lastly, I have a resolution authorizing the settlement of a certiorari proceeding instituted by Tavalillo Realty Corp., affecting the premises known as Section 38, Block 10, Lot 1A, 135 Columbus Avenue, and the assessment years on this property are 2015 through 2020, tax years 2016 through 2021, and the total town tax refund on this one is $259.85.
So moved. Second. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte. Aye. Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Thank you. That brings us to the Highway Department report. Mr. Latella, good evening. A lot of blacktop going in, huh?
That time of year.
Yep.
Supervisor Colavita, members of the town board, I'd like to report. Crews were assigned to trim and prune shrubs and trees in our parklets and our various areas of maintenance along town right-of-ways. Crews were assigned to weed and water our various flower planting locations. The diligent work of our crews made these locations look phenomenal. Our 2021 street resurfacing work is in progress. Our list of roads to be resurfaced were evaluated and based on overall condition of each road. We ask our residents for their patience during the construction of this work. Thank you, Supervisor Colavita, members of the town board. I have nothing further to report.
Thank you. I just want to report that I received several letters regarding your activities and Rich Ruggiero's activities. People were very complimentary of the kind manner in which you went about your job and did everything expeditiously. And one lady in particular was very thankful that she had put a gratuity on a can and it was returned to her. It wasn't necessary. And, that was very kind. But you did get so far so good, and nothing but compliments coming from you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
If I could just also mention that I know that you installed recently a lift gate in one of the trucks that I saw, and that looks really great. And I believe you're also putting some ladders in some of the pickup trucks as well.
A lot of upgrades and stuff, safety stuff were done to a lot of our equipment and stuff at the highway yard. Yeah.
Looks great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, safety officers doing a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, next, that brings us over to the town clerk's report. Anything to add?
No, nothing else.
I would like to add one thing, that our town clerk, Linda Laird, has been voted in by her peers as treasurer for the New York State Town Clerks Association, effective July 1st, 2021. And that's out of 933 towns throughout New York State. She got the job. I guess
Nobody else wanted it.
Either you missed the
Just
meeting and they
saying.
put you in, or you're that good. But congratulations.
Thank
We're
you.
very proud of you. Okay, and that brings us next to our receiver of taxes report for the month of July 2021. We can receive and file same. Now to correspondence, we have a memorandum from the controller on part-time seasonal employees. I'll make a motion. Ask for a second, please.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next is a memo from the Controller on a revised employee handbook, and what we did was, in conjunction with state laws that are, the new state laws, and also in conjunction with the Controllers Association, public sector consultants, human resource consultants, the town labor attorney, a whole bunch of people were involved with this, and I had minimal involvement, I will confess, that the handbook we now have that all our employees go by has been amended. And there have been 4 major updates. 2 of them pertain to marijuana products and having a drug-free workplace and action and discipline regarding marijuana. Now that marijuana is legal, in the state, or will be soon enough, or consumption, I should say, or sales, whatever, we have to have a policy in place for our employees. So we don't have anybody torching up a joint at their desk for obvious reasons. Also, we added a reproductive health decision-making section, and we also added a public health emergency operation plan, which is basically a COVID plan. It's about exposure, PPE, essential employee designations, staggering shifts, how we are going to go about doing that, and that was a requirement of the state. And I want to thank Dawn Donovan, our town controller, for doing an excellent job pulling this all together. Unfortunately, she had a little spill, and she hurt her elbow, so she's not going to be around for a week or so, but we wish her a speedy recovery, of course. But I want to thank her for all of her efforts, because she did a really good job, and this is it's an excellent handbook. It's like a model for other towns to take and use. So anyway, with that being said, I make a motion that we attach the revised document and the amendments as our official employee handbook for the town of Eastchester. I ask for a second, please.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia.
Aye.
Councilman Dooley.
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte.
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita.
Aye. Next is a memorandum from the Superintendent of Highways regarding intermunicipal agreement for residential food scrap transportation and disposal program. Several people had asked us if we could explore this, food scrap program, and basically what that is you would save your table scraps and put them in a separate biodegradable bag, and then you would be able to bring them to one of 2 locations to deposit them into a special receptacle, and that would be picked up by the County of Westchester and taken to a separate site other than your usual facility. And we're still paying the same amount for tonnage for the for the solid waste, but we're not bringing it there, which is a little bit of an advantage. But I think people want us to give us a try. And I know the Environmental Committee, and I know particularly Mr. Marcoccia, had worked with Mr. Latella on this, and I think we're going to give it a try. If we're successful, we'll continue, perhaps enlarge the program. If it's not so successful, then maybe we'll consider tweaking things up. But I think right now we'll certainly want to do that. The toters, or the containers, are a couple $100 a piece. So it's not a very tremendous expenditure, but people have to buy the bags, and you got to bring it down to these locations. So anything further, Mr. Marcotte, to add?
No, I think, again, I want to thank Rocco Latella, our Superintendent of Highways, for looking into this. I know that he did a lot of work. I know he worked also with Tuckahoe on this as well. And I know the Environmental Committee will be very, very happy that we're giving this a try.
Yeah, I think what we should also do is, before we launch this program, we should establish on our website a clear and defined set of procedures and rules with regard to where we're going to establish the 2 locations, what the process is, what you must do if you're going to go down there. We don't want to have people driving by in a fly and throwing a bag of bones out the window, at the car. We have a camera down at the highway yard, and we want to make sure that this is done properly and orderly, and that this becomes a successful program, so we can embellish and expand upon it. Mr. Dooley? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'd just like to say something. I'd also like to thank Jack Bluth. He's a Eastchester High School senior, and he did a stint down at the Tuckahoe Highway Yard this spring, into the summer before the school year ended. And he did a little bit of intelligence work on how it's working there, and he got us some great information, so which helped us get over the hump to move this thing forward. So thanks to Jack for helping out.
Okay, so then let's just resolve that we'll, make sure we have a section in the highway department section, maybe in our new goings-on section also, so we'll let people know, and then we'll launch it out there and let people know when they can start to do that, okay? Perhaps it'd be great if this could coincide with the beginning of school. It seems like our entire world is evolving around the beginning of school on so many different levels, so many different things, but it'd be great to do that if we could after Labor Day week. Thank you. Okay, so we need action. I think we have a motion in a second, is that correct?
Not quite yet.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next, we have a memorandum from the Superintendent of Parks and Recreations regarding a contract to go for WIN, which is our Wellness and Nutrition, and our NSIP Nutritional Services Incentive Program between the town and the county Department of Senior Programs and Services for the program year going into 2022, and this will be for the period ending March 31st, 2022. It's the sum of $46,682, $37,914 of which is for the WIN program funding, and $87,68 is for the NICEP program. That's our homebound meals program. Presently, we have 50 residents enrolled in the program, and we'd like to continue that and just keep that moving forward. So, someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. All right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye, thank you. Okay, next we have miscellaneous business. Our first meeting in September falls on Rosh Hashanah, so I think the board has all agreed that we would like to not have that meeting on that date for obvious reasons. So we're going to just move, I'll make the motion to have a single meeting in September on 9/21.
So moved.
Or second?
Oh, sorry.
All
Second.
right, please call the roll.
Councilman Marcoccia?
Aye.
Councilman Dooley?
Aye.
Councilwoman Nicholson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Marcotte?
Aye.
Supervisor Colavita?
Aye. Next we have council member reports. Councilman Marcoccia.
Thank you, Supervisor. Just wanted to mention that Lake Isle, the frozen rate offer for 2022 membership enrollment is available now through Sunday, August 15th. Register now and receive the same rate in 2022 as in 2021. Stop by the membership office for more details and to register. You can also call for more information. The number is 961-3453. I also wanted to mention that the advisory board meeting will be held on Wednesday, September 22nd at 8 p.m. at Lake Isle. And Lake Isle is having just a phenomenal year. Last year, obviously, for obvious reasons, we were open, but enrollment was way down. We have surpassed the 2019 numbers by far, and it's just been sort of a banner year at Lake Isle. All segments of it, golf, tennis, pool, have just been, just phenomenal, and there's been very, very few issues or problems, which is good. We still have some work to do with the catering and the restaurant. They got sort of a later start because of the restrictions and all, but they're going to hit their stride as well. I also wanted to mention that the library board meeting is going to be tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. at the library. The library is doing very well, it's fully open, and the amount of programs they have is just phenomenal. If you could check their website, if you have any interest in any of them, and you can enroll. There are some building maintenance issues that we're going to discuss at tomorrow night's meeting, but all in all is well there. And then I just wanted to, wish all the kids, particularly the freshmen going into college, I wish them a good year. Hope they study hard. This is some of the best times of their lives, some exciting times for them, and I just wish them all the best as they go into college. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilman Dooley.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Yeah, I'd like to thank the Highway Department, the Parks Department, and the Beautification Committee for the way the town looks. People have been complimenting how the flowers look great. Usually in August, they start to fade. I know the weather's cooperated a little bit better, but I think everybody's doing a great job of maintaining, watering, and, keeping the town looking beautiful. So thanks there. As Councilman Marcoccia mentioned, Lake Isle is doing great. I was up there this weekend, and it was impossible to find a parking spot on Saturday morning at 8:30, so The pool was active, the golf course was active. The golf course looks great. The whole facility looks great, so great job to everybody up there who's working, and for all the summer staff who will probably head off to school pretty soon. Thanks to everybody there. And just another note, in case anybody's noticed a little structure going up out front, a little seating area that's going to be dedicated to our friend Glenn Bolito at some point soon. And then as we talked about Scout Field earlier, we've also sent a request into the county to rename Lower Scout Field after Glenn Bolito. Waiting to hear back on that front, but we think that would be just a real important thing for us to do as a community and as a county. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Councilwoman Nicholson.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Park and Rec, the announcement for our summer concerts, there's one at Garth Road tomorrow evening. The time will be 7:30 p.m. start time. It's by the basketball courts, and the band is Bookends. In case of the inclement weather, please check the website at www.eastchester.org in the section Park and Recs. This will be announced after 3 p.m. For any updates. And then the final concert will be next Wednesday, back at Lake Isle at 7 p.m., and that will be a final Celtic Cross at Lake Isle. In addition, you can check the website for information on the 5K race, which will take place on Sunday, September 26th at 9 a.m., and there'll be more information to follow. And announcement for the seniors, early morning swim and nutrition center reopened on Monday. There were over 30 seniors participating in both programs, and it was great to see all the seniors back. If you're interested in participating in the Lake Isle Nutrition Center, please call 914-337-0390 for more information. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Councilwoman Marcotte.
Thank you, Supervisor. I just wanted to mention the traffic TPAC, the Traffic Parking Advisory Committee. While it's off for the month of August, it's still very active, and it's been receiving. They asked me to mention this because I think it's important. They've been receiving a fair amount of emails from concerned residents and parents with regard to, I guess, kids on motorbikes and mini bikes and scooters and bicycles. We want our kids to be active and be out there, but we also need to remind them to, maybe ride on the sidewalk, and most importantly, wear a helmet, right? Because we don't want any injuries. We want all of these kids to go to school in the fall, and we want them to have a great time. But it's becoming a safety concern in some areas of town. Not looking to wreck their fun, and it's not all the kids, but just maybe a reminder to the kids because we care about them. So that's my report, Supervisor.
Thank you. For my own report, just want to mention about the Leawood Tunnel, the closing and opening. First, I want to indicate that, recommend that people from that area or anyone connected to that area should sign up for SwiftReach 911 notifications. We also have an opportunity to sign up for notifications on our website. There was supposed to be some construction on the tunnel was supposed to be closed, and construction was going to commence, at least on this town portion of the property, on Monday, but that did not occur. United Water Suez was supposed to be getting back to the town of Eastchester with regard to final terms of the license agreement and easement agreement. And very simply stated, there's a piece of property, a small piece, about 60 by 60 that the town owns, that United Water Suez needs to use to put all their lines through. So we've, offered them an easement agreement, and they want to just buy it outright. But we don't want to do that because I think economically it's better for the town to have a lease agreement or easement agreement situation with a cost of living increase, et cetera. So notwithstanding that, they did not react to any of our offers, so we did not issue them the agreement. So it's up to them. It's incumbent upon them to come to the table and to deal with us. Not that our rates are exorbitant, but we have to have a reasonable return for town-owned property. And of course, we want them to proceed as soon as possible. So we're waiting for Suez to come to us and to get this thing going. And we've made 2 overtures that I know of with the town attorney to get the ball rolling with them. And, you know, I don't know what their issue is, but they're just not reacting. So we're going to just sit tight. At some point, there will be an agreement worked out. We probably will have a special meeting, because it probably will be any few days now, and then they'll start the whole process. But the key is to be in the loop on the information that United Water will be sending out, and that we will be also, you know, sending out in parallel as well. So I think we should, you know, encourage everyone to sign up for that. You know, hopefully United Water works this all out with us, because we don't want to have them in the street forever, and we don't want to have them expending tons of money for police protection and police trafficking and the like. It doesn't really make any sense that they would have a delay in this. But look, you know, we're not them. We're just on the other side of the table. Anyway, with that being said, I'll conclude my remarks and urge everybody to contribute to the DePippo golf outing. It's a great time. It's a great event. You don't have to be there if you don't want to play golf. You can just go for dinner if you like. Or just make a donation to the Eastchester Police Association. It's definitely a worthwhile cause. Okay, so that being said, that concludes my report. And is there anyone for the second opportunity? None? Okay, there being none, would someone care to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.